This is Reet, Fortnite's best controller player and two-time FNCS winner, but his story wasn't without controversy. And I even got to interview him on things no one knows about.
If you still think I'm cheating.
So this is the entire story of Reet, which would begin on May 16th of 2006 in Washington State, when Nathan Amundsen, who we all now know as Reet, was born. Now, Reet would have quite the normal childhood, hanging out with friends and going to school. But one part of his childhood would be a bit different, and that was the fact that his father was a gamer. And at the young age of 6, Reet would always see his father playing video games on his PS3, and as Reet got a little older, he would begin to play all sorts of games with his dad too.
So growing up, originally, my dad had a PS3. My dad was a big gamer a long time ago, back when I was 5, 6 years old, and we used to play World at War together, World at War Zombies, COD Zombies. We played Madden 12, all those OG games. So he's really what got me into gaming. I used to play all those games with him.
So now, along with his dad, Reet was hooked on video games, and he would continue to play, and just a couple of years later, at the age of 9, Reet would get his very first console all to himself, and that would be an Xbox 360. And this Xbox gave Reet the opportunity to try out even more games. He would end up playing games from Madden to Call of Duty, but there was one issue Reet had, and that was the fact that he never had internet, so he always had to play by himself on campaigns, preventing him from ever experiencing any multiplayer settings. But at the time, it didn't really bother Reet because he still got to play the games he loved. And then over the next couple years, Reet began to have less and less time to play video games, as he got involved in basketball and baseball at school. But his love in video games would come right back to him in 6th grade when one of his friends would introduce him to a brand new game called Fortnite. And this is where Reet's legacy would truly begin. But at first, Reet was like everyone else, just playing for fun, and not really that good at the game. But as we all know, that would change. And at the end of this video, Reet explained the one thing that helped him become the best controller player in the world. Anyways, while Reet was still on console, he would begin to play more and more, starting to realize that he had become better than most players. And this was great for him, because the Fortnite World Cup was right around the corner. With the $40 million prize pool, that would be the perfect opportunity for Reet to put his skills to the test. But it wouldn't be easy for Reet, because he was on console after all, only placing top 9,000th in the first week of the World Cup, which wasn't very good at all. But Reet persevered and he kept trying, learning from his mistakes and improving week by week, eventually placing 218th place in week 8 of the World Cup, getting him his first earnings of $100.
After World Cup, I made $100, and then OG Trios, I did really good. So that's when I kind of realized I could maybe make a lot of money off of this.
So this was a huge milestone in his career, and it gave Reet the realization that making gaming a job was actually possible. So with this possibility in his mind, he would continue to compete. But of course, he was only a 13-year-old kid at the time, so he was still mainly trying to have fun playing Fortnite. But his crazy skill in Fortnite would lead him to even more earnings in Season X, where he would earn $600 combined throughout the course of the season. And it was this money that allowed him to finally switch off his old console. Now of course, $600 isn't that much money in the PC buying world, so his PC wasn't very good, but it was definitely better than his PS4 he used to be playing on. So heading into Chapter 2 of Fortnite, along with his brand new computer, he continued to compete, and little did he know his big breakthrough was about to happen when he would actually win his very first Fortnite tournament. And Reet has quite the funny story behind this special moment.
That first cash gift I won was actually on Thanksgiving, bro. So I was out at my aunt's house. We were all celebrating Thanksgiving, right? She lived 30 minutes away from me. So obviously, bro, being a little bro, everyone was addicted to Fortnite at the time. So I was thinking, bro, I'm trying to play this cash gift, bro. But it's Thanksgiving. I'm with my family. So then at 6 o'clock, we left the Thanksgiving or whatever. And then yeah, we got back at 6:30. So I had a little 30-minute late queue, and that's still the cash gift. And then I think my first 2 games, I got a 20 kill win game 1, and then I think I had another really good game 2. So I just had a little late start.
So yeah, Reet had just won his first Fortnite tournament, earning himself $2,500, which is quite the crazy amount of money for someone who was only 13 years old. But if you thought $2,500 was a lot, then you might be surprised to learn that only a few months later in the solo FNCS Invitational, Reet would place third, earning him a grand total of $15,000, which is absolutely insane for someone this young.
I remember just playing it and like joining Discord with all my friends after, and it was just like, wow, bro, like that's $15,000, bro. They're like, what are you gonna do with that? I was just like, bro, that's crazy. Bro, and I was like 13 at the time, bro, so it was just like unrealistic. Like, I don't know, it didn't feel real at all. 13-year-old me didn't know how much money $15,000 was, you know?
Now, I almost forgot to mention that along with this $15,000, Reet had also won a couple other tournaments during this time as well, and it definitely was starting to get his name out there as a viable competitor. And with all of this new money Reet had, he would buy yet another PC. But this time the PC would be top of the line quality, and it would help him to continue placing and earning hundreds of dollars regularly over the next couple seasons. And eventually a tournament called DreamHack would begin in Fortnite, and it would occur every week or so, and it gave players the opportunity to compete for even more money. So most players would play it really safe, trying their best to live as long as possible. But Reet had a different plan.
It looks slightly different. He gets the wall, gets the cone, blocks like Muhammad Ali, Reet destroys Silent.
I don't think this is what you want to do. Yup, the control's gonna go to Reet. He's gonna walk right in.
Sean Hin, now on the backside of this, Cheats is there too. Inside of this, well, the backside of this wall is actually taken, and he dives in. Reet is on a tear.
Nosh here. Nosh is one of those high ping players.
Oh.
Doesn't matter. He's gonna walk through Nosh as well. One here. Yes, it is. He's gonna take him out, and now back with Reet. So many big names just hidden amongst the terror that Reet is putting on in the server here.
He eclipsed him with all these eliminations that he gets. Another one on the backside, the wall comes in.
God.
The wall's going in, another one, crash pad 2, he gets the wall, yes, 19!
So instead of playing it safe, Reet decided to W key the entire tournament, eliminating a ton of pros, and little did he know the entire time, the Fortnite broadcast was almost exclusively watching him, resulting in tons of people seeing his name and saying to themselves, who is Reet?
So I was in call with Wavy, Jacob, and Faxty at the time, and like I was screen sharing to Wavy. I remember I killed like Booga, killed like High Sky, killed a bunch of people, but like it was crazy because after the game was over, he was like, "Bro, look, they're watching you," and then like I just like pulled it up and I just watched them like gassing me. I was just like, "Bro, this is crazy." Like I don't even know. It's just like unreal feeling.
And it's quite important to know that before he was all over the broadcast, Reet was a rather unknown player because he played on NA West, a much smaller region that was known mostly just for a couple players, like Epic Whale, Arkham, and Rex. So with everybody seeing Reet all of a sudden absolutely dominating tons of pros, this tournament really helped to get Reet's name out there, and it made his name even bigger when they realized he played on controller. Now, him playing on controller was so important during this time because aim assist was absolutely broken, so tons of other controller players and console players really wanted to know how to replicate Reet's aim and use aim assist just like him, and overall it really helped to grow Reet's personal brand. But this growth wouldn't stop here, because in September of 2020, Reet would join a new Fortnite organization called Extra Gaming, which really showed just how well his competitive Fortnite career was going. But his brand growth wouldn't stop here, because it would be right around this time when another much more popular Fortnite creator named Arab would reach out to Reet and ask if he could coach him in a Fortnite tournament for a YouTube video. And of course, Reet said yes. So Reet would try his best in this tournament, and he actually ended up popping off. So when Arab posted this video, it absolutely exploded, gaining over 1.5 million views, really putting Reet on the map even more. And at this point, with these massive milestones reached in his career, his YouTube videos were averaging over 150,000 views per video, and his Twitch stream at this time was averaging over 4,000 live viewers, which is absolutely insane growth. And it would stay steady from here, as Reet would continue to stream and post videos on YouTube, and everything seemed so great at the time. But then something would happen, because a YouTuber by the name of Exalted would post a video online directly calling out Reet for cheating using a Zen. And really quick, for those who don't quite know what a Zen is, it's a small device that can be programmed to run scripts that significantly boost the amount of aim assist you get on a controller. Now, this video calling Reet out was perfectly timed, because many other pro players were also getting accused of zenning at the same point in time. But most of that negative focus jumped from those players to Reet because this video had garnered over 1 million views. Now, to Reet at the time, of course a still very young kid, only being 14 years old, these comments and remarks of people accusing him of cheating really annoyed him, putting him in quite the negative mental space.
Back then, I was like super soft and sensitive, bro, and just like, I guess like insecure, I guess you could say, because like whenever anyone said anything about me cheating, like they don't like, Smash would get spammed with it all the time, bro, and like I just banned them all from my chat, and like that would actually like me off, bro. Like it actually made me super mad. Like when everyone said cheating, because I was like a little 14-year-old kid, bro. You know, I was like, bro, like what? Like I'm not cheating. Like I'm like I was trying to be known as like the best, you know. So like definitely hurt like for everyone just to think I was cheating.
Now, while Reet's aim was insanely good, it makes a ton of sense considering how much he practiced Fortnite at the highest level. So I personally think it's safe to say he never cheated, and while he was dealing with all of these accusations, he never let up in competitive Fortnite, because he would continue to place extremely well, with a 5th place Grand Finals finish in Season 4, followed by a 10th place finish, and then yet another 5th place finish in Grand Finals. And at that point, Reet had definitely established himself as one of NA West's best fighters. But he was still yet to have his breakthrough FNCS placement to take him to the very top. So Reet would lock in more than ever heading into the solo showdown FNCS in Chapter 2, and it would work out quite well for Reet because he would end up placing 3rd, but he still wanted so much more. So heading right back into Trio FNCS, he would give it his absolute all, and he would end up placing 2nd. So after a bit of tweaking his strategy, Reet along with his teammates Snacky and Faz would load into Grand Finals and they would give it their all, hoping to dethrone the repeat reigning champions, Epic Whale and Arkham.
Nice. 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 Crazy, bro. I'm crazy, bro. I'm crazy, bro. What happened? Nice. Go. Insane. Let's go. Okay, go back out. Right here. Wait, on me. No. Nice, Becky. What? I went hard. What is that thing got me? Nice. 90. End zone, last one hit 90. Go. We're crazy. We're the best, bro.
All of Reet's hard work had paid off and he just won FNCS Grand Finals. And amidst his celebrations, something much more important was happening behind the scenes that no one knew about.
I dropped in the same night we won. It was insane. So basically that night we were just like all chilling, whatever. Whale and Ark DM'd me. We got in a call. They were like, does somebody want to play and stuff? And like I was like, bro, like this, bro, like we just won FNCS, you know, like, like how can I do that, bro? And I was like, all right, bro. Like at the end of the day, like if I'm Epic Whale and Arkham, you know, like how can I really say no?
So although Reet had just won one of the biggest Fortnite tournaments, he just dropped his winning teammates the same night he won, which is absolutely insane to think about, and of course this resulted in a ton of people questioning him. Anyways, Reet was now teamed up with Epic Whale and Arkham, the undisputed GOATs of NA West, and Reet definitely had to prove to everyone doubting him that he had made the right choice. So he would practice more than he ever had, absolutely dominating the qualifiers leading into Grand Royale. And when it came time to play finals, he was more than ready.
Nice, you got it.
I know it's playing them, so I play race around too. 200, two box. Do this. 100, 20 feet. Nice.
had just won Grand Royale, which was over $100,000. And on top of this, Reet had just won back-to-back FNCS Grand Finals, which is absolutely crazy, being one of the only players in the game to ever have done this. And it made him a huge favorite to succeed in the new chapter of Fortnite, which would be Chapter 3. And he would do great in this chapter, going on to place 2nd and 11th in Grand Finals. Then, heading into Chapter 4 of Fortnite, Reet would continue to compete, playing with Epic Whale, and to kick off the chapter, they would win multiple weeks of Elite Cups, along with placing 6th place in the FNCS following. And these were some more great placements, but they were still playing on NA West, a much less competitive region in comparison to NA East, which is where many more pros played. So you may be wondering why I'm bringing up the region they played on. Well, right after Reet and Epic Whale placed 6th in FNCS, the servers actually merged, and instead of NA East and NA West, there was now NA Central, a server for all the players on North America to compete together on. And because all the NA West players would now have to compete with all the NA East players, they weren't too confident in how they would do, but Reet was more confident than ever.
I used to play 40 ping on West, living in Washington. Just my chance to play 0 ping and like prove to everyone that like West is like actually good, you know?
And despite the server merge, Reet was really confident in his ability, and it would show because he would win the very first tournament ever on the new Central server. So it definitely wasn't phasing him, and it turns out Reet was even thinking about moving to NA East before NA Central was even a thought in anyone's mind.
So during duos FNCS, when I first started playing with Epic Will, I actually had the opportunity to play with Senate. I was trying to convince my parents to let me move, and we figured it out where they were like, I was obviously a little kid, so I was gonna be able to move, but like I couldn't move to Virginia. I'd have to move to like Minnesota, bro, with like some other parts of my family, like my dad's side family, and I would have put like 50 ping. So I was like, is it really worth it? Like I don't know. And then I ended up just staying West.
So all in all, Reet was definitely a feared player now on NA Central because of his crazy fighting ability, and he would continue to use it to win tournaments back to back to back. But throughout his entire competitive dominance over the past few chapters, he had left Extra Gaming and had joined TSM, one of the most renowned esports teams of all time. And this of course was a great step in his career, but his time in TSM wouldn't end very well.
We got dropped, so basically they came up to me, Will, and Snacky, and they were like, so we're chopping you guys contracts by 60%, and we're taking 20% of all you guys' earnings, or you can leave. So it was like, we tried doing a little negotiating, they're basically like, not leave, and we're like, okay.
Then after abruptly getting dropped by TSM, Reet had joined Agent Gaming, an up-and-coming organization at the time that was looking for a player that would represent them in the up-and-coming LAN event in Copenhagen. And of course, Reet was a great option, since he was already qualified for the FNCS Global Championship, and he would go on to represent Agent quite well in this LAN event, placing 9th, bringing home $80,000 to split with his duo Ritual. Then following the global LAN event, Reet continued to play with Ritual, and they together managed to place 10th and 5th in FNCS Grand Finals. And throughout this time, Reet actually ended up leaving Agent quite suddenly, which was quite surprising to fans, but this major change didn't really affect Reet at all, because in Season 2 of Chapter 5, they managed to place 2nd in FNCS Grand Finals, which is basically a win in Reet's mind because of how Peterbot won that FNCS.
And yeah, we ended up getting 2nd, which like it was like kind of double-edged. Like it sucked, but it was like great at the same time. Because like at the end of the day, like Peterbot had a Grim coin, you know. Like in my eyes, we won, bro. Like the guy had a Grim coin, bro. Like we played so good. I'm glad like we could show like how actually good we are as a duo. So it was good to just like show it like how good we are as a duo, and showed everybody and to him that like we're like one of the best duos on the region, you know.
And of course, Reet was happy with the 2nd place finish, but he's always chasing another victory.
Like I think that the 2nd's more impressive and way better, but I think the win made me feel better because like during the win, like everyone was talking about it and shit. And I think our 2nd, like nobody ever talks about because like Peterbot won with the Grim coin.
So with just a couple tweaks over the next few seasons in Reet's strategy, we could see him take home yet another title. And with FNCS Grand Finals right around the corner at the time of this recording, this is what Reet thinks will happen.
I think this season's gonna be infinitely harder than last season though, just because of the cactus meta and we don't get a cactus. So this season's gonna be a little rough, pretty impossible to be honest. Like I mean, we just don't have a cactus, but we're aiming more towards like focusing up towards like the land, you know, just hoping land's a better meta than this cactus meta because this just like pretty uncompetitive. Like, you want me to just be blunt about it?
Now, no matter how well Reet does in this FNCS, he's still looking quite good for the LAN event coming up soon at the end of the year that will take place in Dallas, Texas, because him and Ritual are by far one of the best duos on the region. And as of right now, Reet has earned over $300,000 and is definitely the best controller in the game at the moment. So this is exactly what Reet did to get so good and earn as much money as he did.
I've just been playing the piece, like, so Zone War is 100% Zone War is the main thing. Little plug, pro Zone Wars, bro. Go run up that Zone Wars map, bro. Just play. I played as Zone Wars about 24/7. That's like how I got good at the game, playing Zone Wars and box fights, just playing tokens, I guess. But like, I just basically played those literally hours on end every single day. Like, that's how I got good, you know? But so I think just literally creative, bro. Just playing Zone Wars, box fights, and like the piece control map. Like, that's really just like what you gotta do. Just improve your fighting and like that. Just mechanics. It's the best way to get better.
So you heard it from Reet. That's all you need to become as good as him on controller. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and watch this video right here.